Hey guys, welcome back to Mike Reacts. Now today we've got a great one for you. Many of you may already know, if I've said already, maybe I don't know, that one of my favorite presidents ever was Ronald Reagan. So obviously I wasn't around when Ronald Reagan was president, but of course I know his presidency very, very well. I've read a lot about Ronald Reagan and his stance against communism and the USSR is absolutely legendary. So I absolutely love him for that. So today we're going to be reacting to the Ronald Reagan speech that no one wants to hear. Ronald Reagan's powerful speech. So he's done a lot of great speeches. He was a very good orator. He was actually extremely funny as well. I remember watching a documentary or a little clip that showed he used to put his jokes on these little cue cards, and some of them are absolutely amazing. I even like to repeat some of them with Tasha, with my fiance, but I don't think she gets half of them, or she doesn't find half of them funny. I don't know why. Anyway, maybe it's the delivery. But today we're going to be reacting to that. For those of you who like this content, if you really do like this content, give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel, because this is still a small channel, so every subscription absolutely means the world to me, absolutely means the world to the channel, which is just me. So thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you like what I speak about today in this video and the kind of videos that these are, head over to Patreon. There's more detailed videos on politics and government policy and exactly what's happening all over the world right now, all from my opinion and from what I've learned. The link is down below in the description. Mike Reacts at Patreon. And you can also head over to my new channel, Mikey's American Dream. Link is also down below. We are moving to the United States, and that is our documentation, my documentation, essentially, of every step that we take to move to the US. So head over there. It's still a very, very small channel. Your subscription on both channels means the absolute world to me. So have a great day, and let's get to this video.
It's in the very nature of time that it runs on more quickly than any of us would wish. And I must compress all that I want to say into a few brief and fleeting minutes. Now, perhaps that in itself represents one of the lessons that I can impart, the preciousness of each moment. And this is so important as you look to the future. You see, in the 21st century, staying employed will mean more than just knowing something. It'll mean being able to keep on learning.
How insightful is that? He knew that was the case.
It'll mean having character and discipline, being proud of yourselves, learning to learn, and learning to look to the future with confidence. We're moving from an age of things to an age of thoughts, of mind over matter. It is the mind of man, free to invent, free to experiment, free to dream, that will shape the economy and the world of the future. You will discover as you...
I hope you guys can't hear that rain too much. It is raining and it is pretty horrible. This might, if it gets any heavier, this might be a wasted video, but let's see.
Older, that certain things are so much a part of your life that you'll remember them always. You'll remember how you felt about things, about successes, and yes, disappointments. You know, every generation is critical of the generation that preceded it. Our generation felt that way, and so will yours.
That's so true.
But in casting aside the old, don't throw out those values that have been tested by time just because they're old.
This applies so well to 2023. What the new generation of, or whatever they're called, Gen Z, is trying to do is throw out everything which is old simply because it's old. Doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. Family tradition and culture they're trying to throw out. Anyway.
We want to tell you all that we have learned. We want to paint for you our own experience so vividly that you'll be able to avoid our heartaches while you double and redouble your joys. And then we find we have nothing at our disposal but words. Weak and feeble instruments, still, we must try. Every modicum of knowledge that can be truly and rightly transmitted from one generation to the next can prove invaluable. Don't be concerned because you haven't made up your mind. I graduated from college with a degree in economics and sociology, and still had not been able to pin down exactly what I wanted to do. The demand was just maybe to get a job of any kind, because I graduated at the very depth of the Great Depression, 1932.
Wow.
It wasn't until I went back to my summer job to get a little money to go job hunting. After I'd graduated, my summer job was lifeguarding at a river beach in my hometown. And there were people who came out from the city, and corporate heads and so forth, with their families every summer. I'd taught their children to swim, and one was there, and he told me that if I could tell him what I wanted to do, he had contacts with a number of businesses and areas. He would do what he could to get me a job. And I went home and I thought, and I finally realized that in spite of my degree in economics and sociology, I didn't have the nerve to say I wanted to be an actor. But radio was pretty new, and I said I wanted to be a sports announcer. He said, well, I don't have any contacts. There's nothing I can do to help you there. But he said, maybe that's better. Let me give you some advice. He gave me the best advice I've ever had. He said, you start out knocking on doors, telling people then at those doors what you want to do, businesses. And someplace along the line, even in this depression, you'll find someone in a radio station. Don't ask to be a sports announcer. He said, just ask for anything because you believe in the future of radio. Anything inside the station, and then take your chances on there from getting to what you want.
Yeah.
And then you'll get a job. And he says, don't get discouraged if you go to a lot and knock on a lot of doors. Remember, a salesman sometimes has to make 250 calls before he makes a sale. It turned out to be the greatest advice I was ever given. You already have a voice. Make it heard. You're free to be whatever you want to be with no one and nothing stopping.
His perspective is so refreshing in this day and age. It really is.
In a free society.
And I don't want to criticize figures like Donald Trump too much, because I do think his policies are great, but I think the Republican presidents such as Reagan, he has such a great way with words that he really captures the imagination and the support of so many people without possibly being too, how would I say it? Without infuriating possibly the Democrats too much, but at the same time he also did. That isn't really accurate, to be fair. But of course his acting background had a great part to play in that. But Ronald Reagan spoke incredibly well.
You're free to invent yourself, to turn yourself into a great teacher, a race car driver, a minister, or a movie star, or a grower and seller of flowers. You could be anything. It's your invention, and there's nothing to stop you. Don't let it bother you that you haven't made that decision yet. You'll change your mind many times before it comes the right moment. But then when it comes, just knock on the door of whatever you've chosen to do and ask until you find somebody that'll let you in. Now we have arrived, as we always do, at the moment of truth. It is time to clean house, to clean out the privileges and perks, clean out the arrogance and the big egos, clean out the scandals, the corner cutting and the foot dragging. Let's not dismiss our current troubles. But where they see only problems, I see possibilities as vast and diverse as the American family itself. Whether we come from poverty or wealth, Christian or Jewish, from big cities or small towns, we are all equal in the eyes of God. If that's not enough, we must be equal in the eyes of each other. We can no longer judge each other on the basis of what we are, but must instead start finding out who we are. Our origins matter less than our destinations, and that's what democracy is all about. We can assert that the time has come to move forward.
It's so profound and great, isn't it? It really is.
Let us leave behind suspicion between our peoples and replace it with understanding. It's a philosophy you can live by. In fact, I hope you do. As a matter of fact, I believe with all my heart that if a generation of young people throughout the world could get to know each other, they would never make war upon each other. That no force on earth can stop individuals from achieving great goals when they have the will and the heart to pull together and work together. It's good for society when we all know that no one is manipulating the system to their advantage because they're rich and powerful.
Unfortunately, that happens now, and it will. I don't see a way to stop it.
It's also good for society when everyone pays something, that everyone makes a contribution. must not let the creation of wealth become a preoccupation with material things. We've made so much economic progress in our country, but it'll mean very little if your children look back at your days as a time of materialism and selfishness.
Wow.
And looking out for number one. But money's only money.
Yeah.
Unless it represents genuine commitment. There's an old American tradition called house raising. The pioneers out west would get together and build each other's houses. That was a long time ago, but it's still going on. Every time someone helps a lonely old man or woman in a shelter for the poor, that's a house raising.
Yeah.
I wish you a nation of strength and wealth and power. But more than that, I wish you a nation where the house raising continues. Remarkable things are happening everywhere. People of all nations, people of all races and faiths have learned to live in harmony. Our children have been able to grow up in prosperity and freedom. It falls to us now as it soon shall fall to you.
And prosperity is relative, right? A lot of people who would be considered to be poor still have a flat screen TV and still live in far better conditions than an average person, say in South Africa or Kenya, or wherever it may be, or Afghanistan. It's really subjective. I didn't grow up rich, I didn't grow up wealthy or well off, but I had a roof and I had food, so comparatively pretty fortunate, you know?
To preserve and strengthen the peace. Surely no man can have a greater goal than that of protecting the next generation against the destruction and pain of warfare. But what's really important is what inspired us to do these things. What's really important is the philosophy that guided us. The whole thing can be boiled down to a few words. Freedom, freedom, and more freedom. But whatever you do with it, you will be the one who's doing the doing. You'll make the decisions. You'll have the autonomy. I know a fellow who once bought into a little hamburger stand out west. He's just a regular guy, but he worked hard, advertised, and the little stand prospered. You may have heard of it. It's called McDonald's. Hope finds its expression in hard work.
True. You don't know what's around the corner. It's possible that we might lead lives where we don't make our millions, and that's absolutely fine too. But it's also, you don't know which decision will lead you to which destination, right? You don't know. I've got a small YouTube channel which I started out on a whim because I wanted to see if it would work. I've got just at the time of filming this, I've got just under 7,000 subscribers. I think 6,800 subscribers. In 10 years, I might just have 8,000 subscribers. I might still have 6,500 subscribers, or I could have 10 million. We don't know. I'm not saying I'm good enough to have 10 million subscribers, but you don't know where this will lead you. This might lead me on to learning how to do filmmaking properly, or how to edit even better than I can already, which is pretty mediocre, to be fair, at this point. But I don't know where it will lead me, and that's exciting.
Our proudest moments are yet to be. Our most glorious achievements are just ahead. And no matter how full our own lives have been, we say with Thomas Jefferson, I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past. Let us all renew our commitment, renew our pledge to day by day, person by person, make our country and the world a better place to live. May every dawn be a great new beginning. We are beginning still. Every day brings fresh chapters.
We need someone to say these things now. This speech needs to be played everywhere now. It's such an incredible and powerful speech. I'll speak more on that at the end.
And opportunities to match. Go for it. Reach those heights. Excel. Keep it up. Keep on saying yes to life. Never forget your heroic origins. Never fail to seek divine guidance. And never lose your natural, God-given optimism. Enjoy your freedom. Breathe it in. Use it to create the most important and moving thing a man or woman can create. A decent and meaningful life.
Yeah.
May each of you have the heart to conceive, the understanding to direct, and the hand to execute works that will make the world a little better for your having been here. I want you to know that I have always had the highest respect for you, for your common sense and intelligence, and for your decency. I have always believed in you and in what you could accomplish, and whatever else history may say about me when I'm gone, I hope it will record that I appeal to your best hopes, not your worst fears, to your confidence rather than your doubts.
Wow.
Do you guys want to be successful or don't?
Wow. Yeah, we need someone to say these things now. It's extremely important for this to be said now by somebody. What did you think of that speech? I thought it was extremely powerful, extremely moving, and it was spoken so incredibly well. And that is something we need now. Interestingly enough, I just seen a speech come up from Donald Trump as well. So I want to hear what he has to say. I would like to maybe do this one as well and see the comparison. Let me know what you thought of that speech. I love Ronald Reagan. I love the way he speaks. Everything he said in there was so meaningful and heartfelt that I find it very important that it should be shared and people should really listen to what was said there, because it can really change the meaning of your life. It's the most important thing is for our lives to have meaning, and for us to give them meaning in decency and not necessarily just to prosper, but to have a meaningful life. But anyway, guys, I really enjoyed that video of Reagan. I really enjoyed that speech. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed my analysis of it, give me a like and subscribe to this channel. And hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget, check out my other channel, Mikey's American Dream, and head over to Patreon. Only $5 per month, and you can have private conversations with me as well about certain issues, and also make suggestions about what you want to see and what you want to hear. So guys, have a great day.